Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're immersing ourselves in a really interesting framework. It comes from the WhiskyJack Project Manifesto.
That's right. Founded by Marine Corps veteran Marty Kostich.
And our mission really is to unpack the sources you provided and, pull out this roadmap for achieving what Kostich actually calls the simplicity of the truth, especially in, the chaotic world we seem to be in.
Yeah, and what's striking, I think, is the manifesto's core argument. Yeah. It basically says that complexity and deliberate distortion and using emotional manipulation, these are the main things fueling authoritarianism.
Okay.
And for Kostich, the way out isn't just like more data or information. It's about achieving real clarity, cultivating wisdom.
Stripping away the noise, basically.
Exactly, until you're left with just verifiable facts and context, nothing else.
So, okay, before we get any further, we really need to nail this concept. Wisdom versus knowledge. The source is really clear on this, isn't it?
It is. It argues knowledge can be messy. It holds both truth and falsehood. Wisdom, though, that's knowledge that's been tested, filtered through actual experience, moral context, serious, critical thinking.
So it's about discerning what's genuinely true, what holds up.
Precisely. Hard-won clarity. But the manifesto points out a huge challenge there.
Which is?
Well, our current information systems, the media, academia, even a lot of AI, they often work against that filtering process. They value speed, persuasive messages, getting things out quickly. It's the illusion of being concise, not the hard work of real clarity.
And that's where distortion gets a foothold.
That's the argument, yeah. Bias creeps in easily there.
But hang on, isn't there a balance? I mean, if you wait for perfect clarity on everything, couldn't that just lead to paralysis? We might never act.
That's a fair point, and the manifesto kind of anticipates it. It claims that this push for efficiency is often used deliberately to mask what's really going on systemically. The source gives examples from current events. It specifically mentions things like, say, a U.S. government shutdown. It argues the public story focuses on the political drama, the budget fights.
Right, the usual headlines.
But that obscures what the manifesto claims is the real action, a systemic shift of federal resources, away from supporting vulnerable groups towards other interests, like high-level financial subsidies. We're just reporting what the source states here, of course.
Understood. So if political actors are using distortion, what about the media's role in letting that happen? How does the misrepresentation seem plausible?
Well, that brings us straight to what the source calls the media problem.
Okay.
The claim is that major outlets often have underlying agendas. Structural incentives, often profit-driven, push them to amplify division. Conflict gets attention, right?
Captures eyeballs.
Exactly. And this, the manifesto argues, creates a dangerous cycle. Citizens get polarized, distracted by anger, maybe manufactured anger.
While the real power plays happen elsewhere.
Behind that curtain of complexity, yes. While influence is consolidated quietly, that's the picture it paints.
So the obvious next step is, how do we break that cycle? How do we start discerning things more clearly?
The manifesto focuses heavily on pattern recognition, especially in human behavior.
Okay, like what?
It puts forward a pretty stark model. Fear drives behavior. Fear creates anger. And unchecked anger that fosters hatred.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Sounds familiar.
Kind of, yeah. But the operational insight here, according to the source, is simple. Attack the fear, not the hate that comes later.
Go to the root cause.
Right. Think about economic fear, like job insecurity. The manifesto suggests that's easily twisted into political anger, and then maybe hatred towards some group blamed for it. If you can identify and address that original fear, the source claims the whole conflict loses its energy.
That makes a certain kind of sense. But what about technology in all this? Where does AI fit in?
Well, the manifesto has a specific take on AI. It argues current systems are fundamentally flawed for this purpose.
A lot.
They're built for speed and finding patterns in data. That means they often give incomplete answers or answers baked with the biases in that data.
So AI can't just generate wisdom on its own?
No, absolutely not. That's the core insight. AI is a tool, but it needs human context. It needs that filter.
Which leads to their proposed solution, right? The Wisdom First AI framework.
Exactly. It tries to integrate two distinct parts. There's the technical bit.
The AI doing its processing, pattern finding.
Right. Rapid analysis, identifying inconsistencies, flagging things that don't add up. But crucially, there's the human aspect.
That's the filter you mentioned.
Yes.
Right.
That's where empathy, moral reasoning, critical analysis, all that comes in to actually determine truth and moral fitness.
So it's not just about checking facts. It's like a firewall against bias getting through.
Yeah.
How does it stop bad data feeding the human part?
The focus, as described, is on the AI identifying discrepancies, things that don't fit known, verified facts. It flags anomalies. Then the human steps in, applies that critical judgment. It's about moving from the founder's personal journey, he calls it I'm possible, based on his survival story.
Right, individual empowerment.
To a collective goal. We're possible. Collective wisdom, collective action. That's what the project aims for, through analysis and education.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the WhiskyJack Manifesto, as we've explored it today, it's essentially a call to action for you, the listener. A call for critical thinking, vigilance, and the moral courage needed to push back against distortion, both political and informational, globally.
And maybe we can leave you with one final thought pulled directly from the source material. The manifesto states, we are not tribes. We are not data points in someone else's algorithm. So the question for you is, does the complexity of modern life, the speed of information, does it sometimes make you feel like just a data point? And if it does, how do you start reclaiming your own agency, your intellectual and moral independence?